Hi, everyone. So happy to have you listening in. My name is Tina Provenzano. I am a professional intuitive, a channel of Oliver. I'm a certified spiritual life coach and an inner child advocate. Oliver is my guide, and he helps me help me, and he helps me help you. In this clip, Oliver and I are joined by the amazing Lindsay Morlock. Lindsay, for those of you who don't know her, she calls herself a corporate COO by day, and she says she moonlights as an intuitive, a breathwork facilitator, and she's also a scientific hand analyst. And she's truly my beautiful soul sister. Here we are talking about a topic that everyone loves to hate, your feelings and emotions. People, me too, I was people, will pretty much do anything to avoid feeling their feelings. Have you been a thinker of your feelings? I definitely was. Time in this video didn't really allow us to go into depth on how to process your emotions, but just doing the breath and the body scan, that first step in the process, we believe will really help you center. And then at the end of the video, I have an incredible introductory offer for the expanded 10-week Divine Family Program that's happening online. So check it out. We'd love to have you there. Feelings and emotions. We're going to move on to the next one. We've talked a little bit about that, so I'm grateful for that. But Linz, I hated my feelings. I just want to say that right now. Hi, my name is Tina Provenzano.
Yeah.
You resist my feelings like no one you ever knew in your whole entire life, and that is just the truth. Like, I hated feeling my feelings. I didn't realize what it was. And for a very long time. So, I think it's just, it's hard. It feels hard because we don't understand what it is.
And I think as humans, our go-to is to avoid pain at all costs. And so we do things to avoid those feelings, whether for some people it's overworking, for some people it's, the glass of wine, some people it's more extreme with alcohol or recreational drugs, for some people it's food, and the list goes on and on of all the different ways that we numb out or distract ourselves, but we're doing it because we don't want to feel the emotion.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I swear feelings in the self-care world are like the dentist in the medical world. Nobody wants to go to them. It's like, no, I don't want to go there, right? So, we talked about alignment and emotions, and feelings, I want to say, are in the body, right? Feelings are the tightness in your throat, it's the heavy heart, it's the spinning head, it's the ungroundedness, it's the solar plexus that's spinning, right? So when these feelings go into motion, right, the energy of them turns into motion, and it's energy in motion, emotion, and it comes out of us, right, as an emotion, right? And so these feelings that are in our body with these corresponding emotions have messages that come along with them that really require action on our part. And so when we, like Lindsay said, suppress them or deny them or minimize them or drink them away or whatever, right? We don't understand that anger is there to help us protect our boundaries, right? We don't understand that disappointment is there to help us detach from something in life, right? And honestly, even when we do know that that's what it's about, like, so disappointment's the energy that helps us detach. It says detach from the people, detach from the way you want things to be, detach from the circumstances in your life, detach from outcomes, detach from blah, 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 right? On and on and on, right? But we can really misread that if we're not aligned and if we haven't processed that emotion, right? So when we minimize, repress, deny, we lose the message, right? And what happens is we end up in the doom loop. You can rest assured that that message will be back again. That feeling will be back again. You will revisit it because you haven't done anything to get to that thing behind the thing behind the thing, right? That really says, oh, this is the action I need to take in order to, so that that doesn't happen to me again. And what else I want to say is really important with the feelings is when you don't feel your feelings and you make the wrong decisions around your boundaries and around feeling disappointed and around speaking your truth, right? What happens is you lose trust in yourself. And then you say, well, it's hard to trust. It's hard to trust spirit. It's hard to trust me. It's hard to trust, right? But it's really just because we're making decisions in unaligned places where we have no clarity and no business making decisions, right? And then we use, the ego says, yeah, go ahead, make that decision, right? And then it says, go, make it. And then after you make it and it falls, it says, idiot, what'd you make that decision for? That was stupid, right? And all the while we haven't, but if we process our emotions, if we see it, if we help understand what the program is running, right? Get to that inner child. She is the keeper, or he is the keeper of all of our subconscious patterns. They can give them to you. They know why you feel the way you feel. They know the thing behind the thing behind the thing. And they can help you understand how to get to that, right? And then you go, oh, so, right, I need to have a discussion with this person because I said yes when I don't want to say no. A lot of times with boundaries, we'll say yes, we wanted to say no, right? And then we're pissed off at the other person because we said yes to something we didn't want to do, right? But if you just process that emotion for a moment, it doesn't take that long. You'll understand, what I really need to do is give myself permission to say no or whatever the outcome is. I'm just kind of spewing examples here, but it's important to have that trust in yourself, right? And so that's a really great way to build trust, is to understand how to process those emotions.
And to recognize the difference between thinking your feelings and actually processing them. And we want to be really clear about this because I kept telling Tina for about 2.5 years that she should be so proud of me because I was feeling my feelings and I was thinking my feelings for 2.5 years. And she had no idea because
it wasn't that long.
It felt like forever.
It was a while, but it wasn't long.
But the thing is because we think we're feeling our feelings when we say, oh, I feel sad because this happened and this happened. And you're thinking about your feelings. You are not feeling them. Feeling the feelings in the body is like Tina said, where in the physical body do you feel a sensation? It requires no thought from the mind.
Right. I want to make sure you understand what it looks like to think your feelings. Okay. It's really important that you understand this because this is what most of us do. So somebody pisses us off, somebody upsets us, somebody does something, whatever, right? And we get upset. So what we do is we step back and we think about all the reasons why we're upset. We think about all the things we should have said and didn't say. We think about all the reasons this person is a total jackass. We think about all the reasons why we can't seem to stand up for ourselves when it comes to this person. We think about why we're so hurt. We think about why we're so angry. We think about why we're so frustrated. And we think about it, and we think about it, and we think about it, and our body fills and fills and fills with more energy and more negative emotion, right? And then we go, we either explode, right, on someone else, or we implode on ourselves, or we do our own brand of F this. F this, I am so done with this situation. I am not doing this anymore. Forget it. I'm out. Boundary done. I'm good. Let's go. Forward we go. That is not, right? I promise you, you will end up in that place again. I promise you, because you didn't get to anything. You didn't change anything. You didn't understand what's wrong. You didn't process anything. All you did was make yourself so upset that you cried and you felt horrible for maybe hours, maybe days, maybe weeks, maybe months. Honestly, to be honest, maybe years about some things. And we're still walking around as if that's our reality, triggered by something that we thought we felt our feelings on long ago. So anytime you're saying to yourself, I don't know why this won't go away. I don't know why I can't seem to get rid of this. I don't know why this must be me because I keep running into this again and again, but I can't figure out why. It's because you've been conditioned to think your feelings instead of processing them, to actually get to a place of understanding how to get to the information that you need to make a different decision and to heal that inner child's wound and make her feel better or him feel better about themselves so that you can take different steps going forward and change the course of your reality. So, when we think our feelings and don't feel them, we become very reactionary to life. I know that if I'm not at one of my first indicators that I've got a feeling that needs to be felt is I become short on patience. That's my first indicator. Like I go back to the eye roll again, right? That's my first, like, that's it. I'm like, okay, I have something going on here that I'm not looking at, I'm not addressing, I'm not putting me first. So then, anything else on this?
Do you want to take them through a body scan or time?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So real quick, just to give you a sense of this feeling your feelings, we'll just really quickly give you one strategy that you can use to really connect with how to process an emotion, not think it. Yeah. So just close your eyes. And a great way to really center, again, would be to use that 4x4 breath, to just take some deep, breaths in, really start to quiet that mind. So for now, just, inhale through the nose for 4, exhale through the mouth. Just take 3 additional breaths at your own pace. And I want you to just tune into your body. I don't want you to think about it, but I just want you to notice, start at your head and work your way down to your neck, and then your chest, your stomach, kind of solar plexus region, right below the belly button, that area, your legs. Just notice, scan your body with your mind, and just notice if anything anywhere in your body feels stuck, if there's discomfort, dis-ease. Maybe you see a color. Maybe you, feel a heaviness. Maybe you feel like your stomach is spinning. Maybe there's some sort of tightness or tension somewhere. So just see what you notice in your body. And I'm going to have you focus on, just pick one place. It's not uncommon to have multiple places in the body, but for the sake of this activity, just pick one place of discomfort or unease or tension or heaviness. And as you focus on that place in your body, I want you to picture that diamondy bright white light that shines on a lake, as if the sun is shining on a lake or an ocean. Just picture that diamondy bright white light. And I want you to picture on every inhale that you're bringing in that diamond white light through the top of your head and pulling it down through your body and sending it to the place of discomfort or tension or unease. So with every inhale you take, bring in more of that bright white diamondy light and send it to the place in your body. And as you exhale, almost blow out the smoke, the residuals, blow out the tension, Blow out any discomfort that you might be feeling. And keep breathing and pulling in this light and exhaling the smoke or the tension or whatever you're feeling until you feel a release. And you might notice that you sigh. That might be the release. It might be a deep breath that you notice. It might just feel like the discomfort dissipates or the tension eases. So just keep breathing into that place. And when you can recognize that release, you can bring your attention and awareness back to the call.
And I always love that feeling. That is a first step. And I want to also say that it is really important in this process of feeling the emotion. And so that is feeling the feeling in your body, right? That's what you're doing. The feeling is in your body. You're bringing awareness to the feeling and you're bringing light into it. You're breathing out the negative energy, right? And there's so much more to this process, but what I just want to give you a couple of steps so you kind of understand. Validation is so important. Validation of how you feel is the remedy for your ego's resistance, right? So when you validate how you feel, being your own best friend, anyone would feel the way you feel, right? And so I validate that for the inner child. Anyone would feel that way. If this had happened to them, they'd feel exactly the same way, right? It makes perfect sense that you'd feel this way. Anyone would feel sad, frustrated, disappointed, angry, whatever that is, right? And you want to soothe them. You want to tell them that it's okay, that you've got their back, that we're going to get to the bottom of this, that we're going to help them come to understand, right, why they feel the way they do. And they're going to help us understand why they're feeling the way they're feeling, right? And so you want to get it to a place where you don't feel all of that tension in your body anymore. And so what I want, one of the caveats to this is if you came into this at a 10, like if you were like in a high level, like I am like, angry, right? You're going to need that breath to match in intensity, right? So the 4x4 might not work. You might want to do like a more kind of labored breathing. Or you might want to go into a room, shut the door, and I love a pool noodle, a good half pool noodle, cut in half, and just bam, bam, bam on the bed. Anything to break loose that energy, right? To get me back to a place where then that 4x4 breath would bring me back into my body and really in a place of being able to connect with my inner child so that I know that I'm able to get the the information from her that I really need so that I can further soothe, reparent, make different decisions, whatever needs to happen. Right? So, okay. I would love to say we have a few minutes for questions. We don't, but we're going to take them anyway. I mean, at this point, if anyone's got any big questions on that, like anything huge, I know we've got some on the chat. I love that Melissa said, I started playing the game of I don't know. Love it. Yeah. Yeah. Ego also has my mother's voice. Yeah. Feelings are important. They're an important component. So I would definitely encourage you to really move into them in a big way, for sure. Linz, anything else on that?
No.
Okay. So I want to just talk a little bit about why the divine family process works so well. So a couple of years ago, a few years ago, it was actually even longer than that probably now was. My, how time flies. Yeah. I had a huge blowout with my sister on the front lawn, on her front lawn, right? On this big, nice, wonderful piece of property we have here. And my anger was so over the top and so explosive that it scared me. And I have learned that hers was as well. And we both had reason to believe that we should probably part ways before we started like just losing our minds and throwing fists, seriously. But anyway, it startled me so much that it really riled my butt into a different space. I felt like I knew I needed to find a process that not just helped me manage my emotions anymore, because that was really great when you weren't triggered by a really deep sister wound, but but it was in a way of being able to heal those wounds, that stopped the triggers. That's what I felt like I needed versus processes that took me through, right, the emotions and feelings. And as soon as that happened, I have an amazing, talented friend and colleague, Rick, who said to me, "Hey, have you ever heard of Joe Dispenza? And do you want to go with me to his retreat?" And I was like, I looked up his work and I'm like, yes, I do. Because I knew that this was the beginning of kind of an answered prayer for me. And we went through the beginner's process or whatever he calls that online. And then we went to the progressive workshop, which was down in Phoenix live for a few days. And it was life-changing to me. And I will say that this process worked for me in an amazing way. It really helped me learn how to meditate in a way I wasn't able to get to before. It helped me that way. And it also helped me heal those triggers, those wounds, not just the trigger itself and not being able to manage them, but the actual wound. And I will say that, unfortunately, I just have to, I couldn't keep it up. I never made it to the advanced workshop, although a couple of my friends from a group I was in went and they said it was just totally the bomb. And I believe them because he is. And I still do his meditations. But I am a good student. And when I was doing that work, I woke up at 4 a.m. every morning and did an hour and a half worth of his meditations. And there was a lot of other work to boot. And I just, as much as I felt like it took me and helped me heal, and his work, if anybody has body issues, like it is like the best for body issues. It's amazing. He has brain scans to prove his work. He's just tremendous if you haven't heard of him. And I swear that this isn't a commercial for Judge Spencer, but I really do love him and I admire him greatly and his work. But, and it really works. But the thing is that I knew in that moment I needed to find something else that felt easier to me. And the truth is I really judged myself for that because I thought, who am I to want something easier, like everybody else is working their butt off for this? Why? But I did. I felt like I felt like it was too much of like an effort, I guess. And I was at the time being told not to effort so much. So it was like this catch-22. And so it's really interesting because it can be very empowering and very disturbing to know that our triggers and our healing and all of that, right, is all based on our childhood program and these subconscious thoughts and our mind's interruption and us not feeling our feelings. Like, it's very empowering because that's all the part that we have control over, right? And yet Joe Dispenza will tell you every step of the way it's work. It takes work. He tells you that flat out in his program. It's work. It's work, it's work, it's work. And so I'm grateful because he helped me deepen what I had learned in life coaching school, which was a tremendous foundation for me. But then in May 2018, as I was still searching for a better way, Oliver came into my life. And he basically, his name brought with him a sense of peace for me and a promise of peace. And he keeps bringing me back to that sense of peace over and over. And the truth is what he said to me is, look, it's going to take work on your part. And he said, it's not going to happen by itself. But you are right. It doesn't have to be so hard. And at the time, I didn't know what that meant. But then as Oliver never tells me what he's doing or what we're doing. He just does it and then tells me in hindsight. And so he brought me back to my inner child work, and he brought me back to understanding how to parent or reparent my inner children. I have two, like a typical Gemini. And so how they each needed to be reparented in different ways. And he brought me to learning more about my masculine energy and what that looks like when it's at a low vibe, and my feminine energy and what that looks like, and what happens as they interact together, and how unless they are in a better place, my parenting becomes a struggle. I don't even know how to parent. So we upped the level of that. And one day he said to me, hey, so when was the last time you were triggered? That's what he said. And I was like, God, that's been a while. And he said, exactly. I've been bringing you through a process that I'm going to want you to teach others. And it's called the Divine Family. And we're starting with Lindsay. So give her a call and tell her she's going to be the first one going through it. And I did. And Lindsay had amazing results. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to talk?
I was going to say, do you want me to share any of them?
Sure.
Yeah. So in my mind, it's like the pre-process and the post-process. And before the Divine Family process, I had no emotional regulation skills. I'm a very sensitive person. I'm empathic, right? And I didn't even know it. I didn't even know I was that sensitive. And so for years and years and years, since I was 13, I had struggled with compulsive overeating, binge eating disorder. And that's how I was getting through life. Every time I was feeling something, I just went for food. That was my drug of choice. And I was living in this mode of just blame, shame, the victim game constantly. And so even though nobody on the outside knew I was going through anything, because I hid all of it from everybody, I was incredibly low self-esteem. I was really depressed. I was anxious all the time, and yet fully functional. So nobody ever really knew what was going on. I remember this one place I worked, they gave me a nickname. They used to call me Doom and Gloom. I was like, people, I am a realist. I am not a pessimist. And they were like, no, she's doom and gloom, right?
Sorry.
Yeah. I don't know if I ever told you that. Yeah. So, and as a result of all of that, I had a lot of my body feels and manifests everything physically. So I had a ton of food sensitivities. I ended up deciding to go on medicine for anxiety, for depression. I had significant weight issues, back issues, neck issues. The list goes on and on and on. And so my body was so out of balance from quite literally 35 years of not feeling or processing emotion. And so, I mean, within what, Tina, 3 months? I mean, it worked so fast. Within 3 months, it was unbelievable. Like, I realized it was far more painful to resist all the feelings I was feeling than it was to just feel them, process, and be done with it. And that was a huge revelation. You know, I had a lot of codependency issues with different people in my life that I have been able to heal by helping to heal my inner child. So my boundaries are better. I have more self-love. I have more trust in myself. I have more self-confidence, more self-esteem. I am off all depression and anxiety medication. And and I've been off for months, and my doctor's like, oh, well, what are you doing differently? It's like, I didn't need any of it really. I just needed to be able to feel and release the feelings because they were accumulating in the body. And so
That's true.
And I think one of the biggest differences is I'm in a point in my life where I am facing or about to face some really, really significant changes. And I know without a shred of doubt that there is no way that I would have the courage or the trust in myself to be able to make these changes if I didn't have this process. Because what was happening in my life is I was suffering constantly, and it was self-inflicted. You know, Tina always says growth is mandatory, but suffering is optional. And when you're in the midst of suffering, you don't really understand, it doesn't feel optional, right? But it's because we don't have a tool to understand how to not suffer, because we don't grow up with these coping mechanisms. And for me, you know, I always had some short-term successes with, you know, a meditation practice here or this modality there. I was in talk therapy, I think, for 5.5 years, and there were some benefits to that, but I always left there more in my head about my feelings, not actually processing them in my body. And so with that in mind, this process has just, it's changed my whole life, but it's also when I started feeling my feelings is when all of my intuitive gifts started opening, which is now, you know, how I make some of a living, to truthfully, right? And you heard in the beginning of the call, I didn't even know I could do any of that, right? It's an ability, it can be developed, but I wouldn't have been able to develop it clogged with all of those years and years and years of emotions just sitting in my body. And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, and that feeling, the feelings is a very important component to it because, you know, we can't move clearly through life clogged with feelings, right? What I think I've even seen more in you, if you don't mind me saying, is you don't go down anymore, and that is not from feeling your feelings. Although that's how you manage them, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I remember Makwa used to say to you, like, he was never worried about you coming back up. He knew you eventually would, but he would worry about how long you stayed down.
Yeah.
And that is the sign that, like, something inside needs to be healed, right? And so that's the piece that I see, and that is such a big shift in you as well. And this is because with the inner child work to it, you don't have you're not triggered the same way you used to be. You don't go down anymore. You don't stay down there anymore. And so your healing is also, from what I can see, gone from being able to manage your feelings to being able to actually heal the cause of them.
Yeah.
And I feel like this work is so masterful. The Divine Family Program is so near and dear to my heart. This process was channeled by Oliver to help us learn, excuse me, how to develop a relationship with our inner child so that we can lovingly and compassionately heal the wounds of our past once and for all. This process teaches you how to connect to both spirit and your inner child to aid in your awareness of your subconscious patterns that are driving your unwanted and probably repetitive experiences that you're having even today. You will be taught how to love and reparent that inner child, and how to understand and raise the level of your masculine and feminine energies in a way that brings about balance in your life, so that you can appropriately reparent that inner child in a way that helps them create entirely different and more joyful tomorrows. The program originally rolled out in 2018, and it's now been expanded in some incredible ways. We've gone deeper into the inner child creating a really fun way to determine your inner child's primary archetype. We've expanded the intuitive development portion of the program. This is truly foundational in the program. We have also expanded the masculine and feminine energy portion of the program. And as I said, this is so important in creating balance, and especially when it comes to reparenting your inner child. And I'm really excited to say that Lindsay will be bringing pranayama breathwork to the Divine Family Program. It's absolutely one of my favorite practices, and Lindsay is phenomenal, and I'm so happy to have her joining us. This program really works. I've been coaching people for 14 years, and even in the 6+ years that I've been practicing in Sedona, I haven't seen anything like it. Because this program has just been expanded, and even more because people just really need this right now, we are making an incredible offer. For as little as $333, you can join this 10-week Divine Family Program. Again, it is a 10-week online course on a great platform called Zenler. And every week from October 14th through December 16th, we'll be meeting on Zoom calls for 2 hours every Wednesday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time and 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time for divine discussions. Every week, there will also be prep work. There'll be a short video that you watch prior to the divine discussions and a small assignment that'll help you prepare for our session. And then every week also there's homework because I believe if we practice, all will come. An angel who's been helping me said that this process was like getting a PhD on the inner child. And she's right. It's also incredibly healing. If you'd like to join us, you can register. You just pay via Venmo, PayPal, or credit card. And it's $333 if you pay via Venmo or PayPal Friends and Family. PayPal, I am at paypal.me/Tina Provenzano. At Venmo, I'm at Tina Marie-Provenzano. Please remember to choose the Friends and Family option. Or if you want to pay by credit card, you can do that, and it's $350 to pay by credit card, or if you pay via PayPal without the Friends and Family option. This is an introductory price, and I am thrilled to offer it to you at this time. The course will definitely be offered again in the future, but not at that price. And so when you send me payment, I'll be sure to send you a confirmation. We will also be offering throughout the course of the program one-on-one coaching from Lindsay and I at the price of $150 per session. And this will help you take the work even deeper. With me, you'll have the opportunity to work on developing your intuition, inner child and conscious parenting work, or also boundaries. So those are 3 separate opportunities. And with Miss Lindsay, you'll have an opportunity to go deeper into the breath work and also discover any blocks that you might have to your purpose with hand analysis. So those are 2 great opportunities to work with her. If you have any questions about the program, I am really happy to discuss it with you. Just send me an email at tinamariepro@gmail.com and we can set up a quick chat. I would love to speak with you. Until then, I hope you join us. Take good care.